Hey, what's going on, guys? I got a box. Something really cool in here. Alright, so I'm not going to continue to hold that while I'm talking because it's heavy. As you can see from the title, the thumbnail, I got a lathe and a mill, and it fits in that box. So it's not very big. So no more complaining about not having a lathe or a mill. Now it's gonna be complaining for a bigger one. But anyways, I want to show this thing off to you guys. It's pretty cool. It's a little mini metal lathe that can be converted into a mill. It's made by a company called EMCO. I actually got turned on to this by Diego. He messaged me after the video for Ian's Saber when I was finishing up a couple things on that, and he's like, hey, you should check out these lathes. And so because I was kind of pricing out some Chinese ones, and it looked like every single one that I found was either really expensive or you had to do a ton of upgrades to it, like aftermarket. I was just like, I don't want to spend $1,000, then I got to spend another $400 on replacing all the gearing and all that stuff. So this turned out to be a great option. It's a little bit smaller than I wanted, but I feel like this is probably a great entry point, and the fact that it can be both a lathe and a mill is fantastic. So that is going to save me a lot of money, because buying them separately or even as a combo is real expensive. So this is a fantastic option for me. So let me open this up on my bench. I'll get it out. I'll show you what all I got here. Ooh. This is a Unimat SL-200. I got tons of little bits for it, little parts. I've got the lathe itself. I've got several different chucks in here for various things. Everything pretty much has its own place. Got a couple live centers and various things. So let me start pulling some stuff out of here. That way I can show it to you here. Alright, so here's the lathe itself. It's got one of the chucks on it already. It just pops right off. Just unscrew it. I don't have the little tensioner rods, so there's like a rod that goes in here and one that goes in here, and you push them together or further apart to loosen, so it will move the jaws out so you can put a new piece of metal in. Not a big deal. I've actually used the two different keys here. I've used this one and that one, and the ends of those actually will fit, and so I can separate them that way. That's not what they're for, but I can use them in that regard. So probably one of my first projects is going to be making little rods for tensioning that. Let's see, this one goes here, and this one goes there. But it's pretty cool. Everything, moves real nicely. It's got a few different cutting ends on here. Well, one on here, and then there's a couple more, pieces. It pretty much has everything except for those two rods. There's a few accessories I've discovered that I would like to have, like the mill table. There's a little mill table attachment. It's not necessary, but I think it would help. But everything moves pretty smoothly. This is a little tough. I think it just needs a little bit of oil. It just is very laborious to turn. I know you don't want to go real fast, but it doesn't turn real fast. I mean, you'd have to really crank it quick. And this this motor runs real quiet. Like, I was a little surprised at how quiet it is. So let me show you guys some of the accessories real quick. Okay, to start off with, there's a couple different cutting pieces here for the lathe. Comes with this Allen wrench that's used for, various things around the mill. They're, all over the place. There's a little tiny vise here. It's got its own little pocket. Everything has got its own little pocket. You know, this has got this. So I really love that. It's just got a spot for everything. It's got this 4-jaw chuck, which is cool for holding like off, you know, centered pieces, you know, so you can independently move each thing. These jaws are reversible, so you could hold things different ways. I actually don't know what that is. Some sort of chuck, not sure. Then down here we got a little Jacob's chuck. Actually, two of them. There's one in this box as well. I assume this one's actually more for the drilling end, like if I want to put a live center, like here where the live center goes. So I think that's what that one's for, because it doesn't have threading on it. Whereas this one, this is more like for the putting on the lathe end, use it for like the mill. It's got its own little vintage box and everything. And then I got a couple live centers here. And that just slips in there. It's pretty cool. And then we got the lever for when you use it on the mill, and then this is the mill shaft, and this is the adapter piece right here. So let me do a quick setup on how it turns into a mill. This is just a pin, it's not threaded. It flips in here and holds it at the perfect 90 degrees because this is adjustable. I'm just going to set that in here. There's a screw down here. Alright, so that's pretty much it. That's all it takes to turn this into a little tiny mill. It's got this, you know, lever here for raising and lowering the head. I don't have everything tightened down, you know, locked in place perfectly. You know, I just kind of slapped this together real fast. But I was like, that's pretty awesome. I get 2 tools out of 1, 2 really impressive tools. And EMCO is Austrian made. They're supposed to be a really good, precise little mini mill. They call it like a watchmaker's mill or something like that because it's pretty small. But most of the stuff I work on is pretty small, so I think this will work out fine for me for a long time. Maybe one day I'll have to pony up the dollars and actually get the or a bigger one, I should say. But I could put on a different chuck on here, like a Jacob's chuck. I could take this cutting block or this tool mounting block off. They sell a little mill table. It's like a little miniature thing. It's kind of expensive for what it is. It's just like a little block of metal with a couple grooves cut in it for mounting things down, and I'm like, ouch, $150 for that. But I'll probably wind up buying it. So, but I can do fine with just this, and pulling off this block and using this clamp here. I can clamp that on there into this groove that's right on here instead. So that's it. It's pretty cool. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. What do you guys think of the mill and lathe? I'm pretty excited about it. I just got to carve out some time where I can actually do something with it. I don't really have a whole lot that I can do with it just yet, other than making those little tensioner rods for the lathe chuck. I think they actually fit a couple of the chucks, maybe. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. But yeah, that's my new toy. I'm gonna have to think of something. I guess I could work on that adapter for Ian's Obi-Wan saber with the balance pipe. Cut a groove in that for putting another O-ring on it. But I'm pretty excited about this, and it expands my capabilities. It is limited in size, but I feel like for the price, this thing's actually pretty much in brand new condition. That's another thing, is like I found several of these that were kind of beat up, and they were a couple $100 more than I wound up paying. So I feel like I got a pretty good deal on it. I did order some replacement belts, because the belts, it's only got one belt, and it's supposed to have a couple different sizes, so you can do different configurations to get different speeds and torque and whatnot for cutting different kinds of metal. So I went ahead and ordered like 3 sets of belts, got that done, and then it does come with a couple manuals. The funny thing, I was flipping through, maybe it was this one, this book. It has like all these different accessories you can get for this. So you can turn this into like a little miniature table saw. You can turn it into a little sander. You can turn it into a flex shaft tool. Don't worry, flex shaft tool, I'm not going to replace you. You're wonderful. But like, it was crazy, like all the different like little attachments you could get to turn just this little, this little setup into so many more things. It was like pages and pages of stuff. Just all these accessories for it. I had no idea. But it's pretty cool. I don't have like any of those accessories, unfortunately, but I don't think I really need it for any of those things, because I have an actual table saw, and I have a bandsaw, and I have a miter saw, and I have a drill press and a sander. I have all those things. They're all separate. Instead of having to like take this thing apart every time and reconfigure it into something else, I'd rather just keep it as just its two functions, a little tiny mill and a little tiny lathe. So I do need to figure out something for mounting it. I'd almost like to just like leave it set up. I kind of want to get a second one, or I don't know. I don't know if I'd get a bigger mill or a bigger lathe. We'll see after time. Maybe I'll figure out which one I like to use better in that size, and buy a replacement for the other end, the other function that's larger or more suited to my needs. Yeah, I'm excited. I'll be back on hopefully soon to build something. Yeah, talk to you later, guys. Bye.